Let's get elevated. Let's make sure we are live. Can you see? Can you hear? And I don't mean literally, I mean regarding the show. Click on this. Looks like we're running. All right. All right. We're plugged in. We're hardwired. We should be fine. No hiccups. Welcome to the show. Happy November. Happy Halloween. A lot to get to. Awful card today. Awful card. I don't know how many people have looked at this card. This card is terrible. More on that in about 30 seconds or so and for the rest of the morning. Texting from my parents. I don't even know why I bothered looking at that. All right. First thing is first. Welcome. Thank you for attending the show today. We got a lot to get to. We'll be back this afternoon. Whenever the last afternoon game goes final, that's when we launch and we preview Sunday Night Football. Cowboys-Eagles. What could possibly go wrong with that game, right? Probably a reason to have at least 20, 30 bets. Kidding. I mean, what do you do there? Hit the chat right now. We'll talk about it tonight, but do you lay 11 with a Philadelphia team that stinks? Do you take 11 with Dallas and a kid who's never played quarterback before? What a game. We'll talk about that tonight. Whenever the final afternoon game wraps, this thing fires up and goes live. Hope everyone had a great Halloween. Gave out the full-size candy bars. Full size in this household. To quote the great Mo Green, if you've ever seen Godfather, I'm Mo Green. You don't buy me out, I buy you out. You don't egg my house, I egg your house. That's how that works. Full-size candy, first Halloween in the neighborhood. Think we're off to a great start there. Shockingly, Three Musketeers out-dueling Snickers. Had a whole layout. Put a picture on Instagram and Twitter if you're into that sort of thing. The kids love Skittles, doesn't surprise me. Three Musketeers dominating Snickers last night. Shocked. Absolutely shocked. Recap as we get people into the chat. Thursday was crap. 0-4. Absolute crap. We had gotten real hot there for a minute. Gambling gods were not pigeons first Halloween. That's a good one. They're gone. Eliminated from the equation. 0-4. Just total crap. The gambling gods were not going to let us run hot for more than a couple weeks. So that was a reckoning. Todd Gurley over. He got 18 carries. They had the lead. They had every possible reason to get him to the over on yardage. Can't do it. So that missed. Bridgewater over passing yards against the Atlanta defense. Barely threw for 200. Who would have known? Atlanta suddenly playing pass defense against Teddy Bridgewater at home on a Thursday night. So those two were a miss. Colorado State was the biggest miss. That was just an awful, awful handicap all the way around. I'm not even going to address it anymore. I'm going to say it's a terrible job, and I'm going to move on. And then yesterday, Rutgers, another loser. Good God, Fortenbaugh. So 0-4. Season total now 63 wins, 61 defeats. So a winning record, but losing because of the juice. So we'll see what we can do to pull this thing off today. Plenty of picks coming. I've got 6. Got to write that last one down. 6 coming in just a minute. Let's go through a few key notes. Number 1, today, and we talked about this on Thursday, today, more than any day so far this season, check the weather reports. You're coming to me. I'm going to give you some weather, but be smart on this. This is the first weekend you really needed to pay attention. Yes, I know the picks were bad. I just addressed that. But thank you to the comment section for bringing it home. The weather is a major concern around the country today. There are 5 games that are going to have high winds. Okay. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you know this rant. But if you're new, I'm going to give you the abbreviated version. Wind affects the game more than anything else. People can see rain. They can see snow. They assume unders. No, not so much. We had snow in that Denver game last week against KC. That had no problem going over. Okay. It doesn't mean you bet the overs in rain and snow games, but it doesn't necessarily affect it as much as you think. Remember, while the ball can be slippery, there is a scenario where receivers know where they're running, right? They know the route. They know how to plant. The D-backs don't. They're the ones that slip and fall, i.e. it leads to big plays down the field. Wind is the silent killer. Wind's not really silent. It's the invisible killer, because when you see the flag blowing around, you're really just looking at the thing on the flag. You can't see the wind unless it's a tornado, and then you can see it, or a hurricane. We're going to go with the invisible killer. Factual or not, you get the point. The invisible killer. It'll cut down a passing game like you never seen, right? You're throwing in the wind, punting, special teams, TDs, all this chaos. 5 games today I want you to pay attention to. Green Bay, Minnesota. All right, Lambeau Field. Buffalo, New England. Cincinnati, Tennessee. Cleveland and the Raiders. Chicago and New Orleans. Those 5 locations, high winds. And you've seen the total plummet in all of those games by 4.5 to 6 points. I feel a sneeze coming on. Disaster. I should have just gone for it and gotten it out. Oh, I'm going to regret that later. Terrible move. Terrible move. Always get the sneeze out. Don't hold it in. Terrible. So those games, and this isn't just from a gambling perspective. Your fantasy teams, your daily fantasy lineups, everyone looking for a shootout in Minnesota, Green Bay, it can happen, right? It can absolutely happen. Rodgers can throw for 400. They're betting the unders, or at least they bet them early in the week. The value's gone now, but just be careful when it comes to those 5 games. All right? Again, Green Bay, Minnesota, Buffalo, New England, Cincinnati, Tennessee, Cleveland, Las Vegas, Chicago, and New Orleans. Some call Cleveland the Las Vegas of Ohio. Not me, but, it sounds kind of funny. So we want to pay attention to win. Injuries. Let's run through some of those. Had this up right now. All right. Michael Thomas is out for the Saints again. Marquez Callaway is out. Aaron Jones is out for the Packers again. Joe Mixon for the Bengals. I said Bengals. Everyone gets on me about that. The Patriots today. No Julian Edelman. No N'Keal Harry. No Stephon Gilmore. Like, if there is ever a year for the Bills, this is the day, and this is the year. All right? Wind or no wind, you got to take advantage of this situation. Any notable movements? Yeah, we got the line movements coming up right after the injuries. Patience, people. Patience. Although that doesn't really exist anymore, and I'm one of the more impatient people you ever come across. Jamison Crowder, Rashad Perryman, Sammy Watkins, Deebo Samuel for the Niners. Wait till we talk about that line move. Jeff Wilson for the Niners. Andy Dalton out. We'll talk about that game tonight. DiNucci in. Miles Sanders out for the Eagles. Alshon Jeffrey just cashing checks. Thanks, Alshon. We love you in Philly. You just keep doing you. Take it nice and easy. More on that later. If I'm drinking today, I'm going to go off on that game. And I had it with the Eagles. So those are your injuries. A couple other updates. Philip Lindsay, who is listed as questionable, he's expected to play against the Chargers. Chris Carson for the Seahawks. That is a game-time decision. It's going to depend on warm-ups. I had to take the risk. 50-50 shot, according to Adam Schefter. Dalvin Cook, listed as questionable. He's going to play today against the Packers. We'll talk about that game in a second. Emmanuel Sanders, this is from Adam Schefter as well, tested positive for COVID over a week ago. Out against Chicago, so no him, no Michael Thomas, but he is expected to rejoin the team this week and play next Sunday at Tampa Bay. That's a huge game. And we'll have the Tampa Bay Giants live stream tomorrow. Every Monday and every Thursday, we preview Monday Night Football and Thursday Night Football. All right? When we preview those, it's at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. So there's your injuries. We talked about the wind and the weather. Let's do line moves. Green Bay was a 7-point favorite over Minnesota. Everyone loves the Packers in this game, right? Public dumping money on Green Bay, yet the number's down to 6. I don't have this as one of the plays, but I'll give you some notes on it. Minnesota's had 2 weeks to get ready for this game, and they're going to feature Dalvin Cook heavily today. They're going to have to, right? Green Bay ranks 20th in the NFL in terms of opponent yards per rush. They're not very good on the ground. So Minnesota comes out. They've got Dalvin Cook healthy. They feed him the ball a bunch. They grind clock. They keep Rodgers on the sidelines, right? They've had 2 weeks to get ready for this game. They should be ready to play. They were humiliated by the Packers early in the season back in week 1. Got to make sure you can see the odd chart. What's the dome doing blocking the advertising? It's a terrible play. Amateur move right there. And the wind, again, everyone's going to look at that crappy Minnesota secondary. Yes, a lot of dudes are hurt. It's terrible. But again, you've got high winds. That can help Minnesota negate the Rodgers effect. Everyone just assumes Rodgers is going to throw for 400 today. Maybe, but you go try throwing in the wind. You ever play golf and try to hit a ball into the wind? Try throwing a football into the wind on a dime. Not easy. So keep that one in mind. Buffalo has moved from 3 to 4.5. Patriot money, nowhere to be found as far as I can see. Anyone who wants to bet on Belichick at this point? Crickets. They look terrible. More on that coming up. Tennessee was a 3.5-point favorite against Cincinnati. That's up to 7. So, not a lot of faith in backdoor Joe Backdoor Burrow, but not a ton of faith in Tennessee to bounce back off that loss to the Steelers last week. Cleveland was a 3.5-point favorite against the Raiders. That's down to 1. Raider money's been coming in for a while. That defense, I know Beckham's out, but, bad defenses do not travel well. So we'll see with the Raiders. They're betting it like they already know the outcome here. I want to play the over, but again, the win is going to keep me away from that. Oh, that should be a good game, though. Kansas City minus 21, down to 19.5. Jets. So teams laying 19 or more historically in the NFL, 43, 43, and 2 against the spread. Anyone who's looking at the chat, hit me up. What would you do in that game if your life depends on it? Are you laying 19.5 with Kansas City, or would you take the 19.5 with the Jets? I kind of think I'd take it with the Jets. I know it sounds insane. Played the Jets last week and they covered. It's their only cover of the year. But yeah, look, lay. Okay, we got 1 Jets. We got 1 lay. I'm interested. Hit the chat up. Let me know. What would you do there? You know how many things need to go right in an NFL game for you to be able to cover 19.5? Right? Number 1, you can't get caught looking ahead to next week. Number 2, it can't be one of those flat spots. Number 3, the Jets can't play well, which most likely they're not going to play well. But if they have the game of their lives, you're screwed. If Mahomes or anyone good gets hurt, you could be in trouble. There's a lot of factors there. Plus, the back door's wide open. Like Kansas City could get up in this game big and then just get the starters out. You don't want to. How long do you want Mahomes playing against the Jets? If he's playing all 4 quarters, it means it's a close game and you're covering. If he's yanked out, back door becomes open. So keep that in mind. I love it. People playing the first half in this. You people are beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The Saints were a 3.5-point favorite at Chicago. That's up to 5. Probably because everyone watched that Bears debacle on Monday night and knows the offense can't score any points. So not only can they not score, they're going up against a pretty decent Saints defense. I believe Allen Robinson is going to be able to play today. Pretty decent Saints defense. Short week, high wins at Soldier. Should be fine for Nick Foles. 10 points easy. Okay, so this one. I know you come here for some insights, or maybe it's just the comedy routine, but I don't know what the hell is going on with Seattle, San Francisco. I have no idea, which means I shouldn't bet it, but I am going to bet it. We'll get to the pick in a minute. On the look-ahead line, Seattle was a 6.5-point favorite last week when that look-ahead line came out. Seattle goes and they lose to Arizona in overtime. All right, no shame in that. Arizona's not bad. It's an overtime game. The Niners go to New England and they beat the Patriots. It's a good win. They were small underdog. I was on the wrong side of that. It was a good win. And I think we realize, though, that New England isn't very good this season. So based on that information, this line's going to move 5.5 points. Now, it had moved down to 3, and that was going to be my big rant. Oh, it moved all the way to 3. Now it's a ton of Niner money has come in today and pushed this thing down to 1, as low as 1 at some places, 1.5 in others. So you see something like this, they're betting it like they know the Niners are going to win. Now, you're not getting the best number now, but that game's getting bet like the outcome has already been decided. So if you were to follow that, that's called chasing steam, right? Chasing steam. Ugh. We'll talk about that more in a second. Philly, Dallas, we do tonight. Chargers were a pick'em. They're now a 3-point favorite at Denver. I don't know if I can lay points with the Chargers on the road. That game might not get 1 minute of my attention, or it might get all of my attention if I'm chasing. But there are some COVID positives for the Denver coaching staff. I think the defensive coordinator who calls the defense is out for this game. There's like a whole mess to this game. And you know the Chargers, who are better, should go in there and handle their business. You know that. But you know what's going to happen? They're not. They're like last week, they're going to let Jacksonville hang around. They're going to be trailing in the second half. Chargers are a mess every single year. It's like the most disappointing franchise in the history of sports. They're just inept. Yeah, see, look at you guys. You're all talking about the Niners. You see what I'm saying? I want to play the Seattle. I told you I had 6 picks for today. I might just have 5. I might not play that. I wanted to play the Seahawks. That's a mess. You know what? That one's going to get scratched. Any other line moves? Baltimore, from -6 to 4. They were 6 on the look-ahead line. They're now 4. And that's where we begin with the picks. Favorite bet of the day is the Baltimore Ravens. None of the others compare to the Ravens. I'm not saying it's that great. I'm saying the others I like. I bet them. The Ravens I really like. Ravens are one of my better plays. One of my favorite plays. Let's make sure the line. Ooh, some places down to 3.5. Mostly 4. We're going to give it out at 4. We'll start with this. Look ahead line was 6. It's now down to 4, 3.5. I'm going to just say 4. It's down to 4. Is that necessary? Was that a necessary adjustment? Did it need to come down that low? Steelers are pretty good, but no one wanted to bet on the Steelers. No one. Last week, we had the Steelers. I've been riding the Steelers all season. They haven't been covering nonstop. That Denver game in week 2 still pisses me off. But the point is, they've been really good, and no one wanted to bet them. And no one wanted to bet them against Tennessee last week. They kept saying the bottom's going to fall out on Tennessee, and it finally did for that game. Same weekend, the bottom fell out on Seattle. So the people who've been following this for a while, you've heard these rants. You've seen me bet against the Seahawks and the Titans left and right and get my teeth kicked in. Finally, you saw the bottom fall out for those two teams. Game was a little too close. Titans trailing by a little too much for too long. Couldn't pull off that magic. That's what's going to happen when you play that many one-score games. Eventually, you're not going to catch the breaks. Same thing with Seattle, right? Same exact thing with Seattle. Russell Wilson could use some help. He throws 3 INTs. You notice that? If Russ doesn't have a perfect game, they lose. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a perfect game, the Packers lose. Those teams, you don't bet them to win the Super Bowl. They've got great records, but those are not teams that win in the playoffs. You need more. You need to be well-rounded. That's why Tampa Bay looks so damn frightening right now. So this gets adjusted to 4. Now everyone, after seeing last week, the Steelers beat the darlings of the NFL and the Tennessee Titans. Now everyone wants to bet the Steelers. Pass. Zig when everyone else is zagging, playing the Ravens. First and foremost, they have 2 weeks to get ready for this game. Huge advantage when you're playing Pittsburgh. Huge to get ready for this. Plus, Pittsburgh's coming off a really physical game against Tennessee, trying to tap Derrick Henry all those times. That's a physical game when you play them. That's going to take its toll. Baltimore comes in nice and healthy for this one, nice and rested, right? So that's a big advantage. Number 2, John Harbaugh has been nails coming off the bye in his career. 10-2 straight up, 9-3 against the spread. Not only that, he's covering the spread by an average of 8.6 points per game. Not winning by 8.6, covering. So if the line's 7, he's winning the damn game by 15. That's how good he is coming off the bye. Ravens just traded for Yannick Ngakoue from Minnesota. Short tenure there after getting traded away from Jacksonville. This team's good. This team's really good. People have forgotten about it. And what they're going to do is they're going to try to cut him down like they cut down the Steelers. They haven't played anybody. That's what everyone's going to go, they played one good team and they lost on Monday night. That helps. That helps the situation. The last time they were in a marquee game, they fell on their face. You don't think Harbaugh's been talking about that all week? The way they looked on Monday Night Football against the Chiefs? Lay the 4 with Baltimore. Favorite play of the week. You watch the board go to 3.5, and it's like, what do I have wrong here? I've been talking about this damn game all week. All right. That's number 1. Number 2, I don't know if anyone's betting this game but me, because I haven't talked to anyone else who's made a play on this game, right? Haven't talked to anyone else. I'm taking the 3.5 with the Dolphins over the Rams. I see that someone was just asking for that opinion. Yeah, this is a pick. That's why I haven't said much on it yet. And if I get through all my picks and there's still games you want opinions on, we'll discuss that. Just hang tight. So love the spot. Absolutely love the spot for the Dolphins here. They've had 2 weeks to get ready for this game, right? That's first and foremost. I feel like I say first and foremost too much when I'm setting these games up. Got to work on that. 2 weeks to get ready for the game. Tua is going to make his start at quarterback today. Now, everybody is unsure of Tua. You can't possibly be sure of what he's going to do today. We know Rodgers is good. We know Russ is good, right? We know the Jets will probably stink. These are reasonable assumptions we can make. No reasonable assumptions with Tua. But we do know this. He isn't Ryan Fitzpatrick. And that means the Rams have no game tape at all to study. As good as that Rams defense can be, what's the game plan, right? How are the Dolphins going to utilize Tua? What wrinkles did they come up with over the last 2 weeks? That's why I like Miami. I think they can get a few scores, possibly early if they go tempo, catching the Rams off guard. How are the Rams going to defend them? They have no idea. Think about it. If you really are ready, if Tua is ready for this game, how the hell are you going to defend these guys having no game tape on them? Big advantage for the Dolphins. Number 2, the Dolphins defense, not as terrible as everyone thinks. Number 2 in the NFL in yards per point allowed, right? Only Baltimore's done better yards per point allowed. So that's something to hang your hat on. Number 3, regarding the Dolphins, head coach Brian Flores. Where was he before he was a head coach in Miami? He was in New England. What was he doing in New England? He's a defensive coordinator. When was he a defensive coordinator for New England? The Super Bowl against the Rams. When he held them to 3 points? He's the one that put that game plan together. He knows Sean McVay. So there's something there to like about Miami. There's also something to really dislike about the Rams. So the Rams just played Monday night against the Bears. Now they got to travel all the way across the country to play Miami. This is the 4th time the Rams have gone to the East Coast in 7 weeks. Andrew Whitworth, their offensive tackle, was talking about it this week to the media. He said, he's never in his career, he's been around 15 years. Never in his career has he seen anything like this. He's never been a part of this in his entire career, all this travel. Cannot believe it. They went to Philly in week 2, Buffalo in week 3, Washington in week 5, Miami in week 8. How about that memory? I've been talking about this angle forever. And that's why I bet Washington. I lost that bet. That's why part of the reason I bet the Niners, I won that bet. And then I bet the under on Monday night, so I won that bet. So I've been doing all right with the Rams. Point being, love the spot for Miami. Hate the spot for the Rams. I'm getting 3.5. Wouldn't be surprised if Miami won that game outright. I like the Rams too. Wouldn't be surprised if Miami wins that game outright. That's pick number 2. Dolphins plus 3.5. Go Mammals. I'm not betting Seattle. That's out. Only 5 picks. I don't know what happened with that line move. I almost feel inclined to just spend all week talking about betting Seattle, and then at the last minute just bet the Niners. That would guarantee the Seattle victory. I can't bet that. That line has moved too far. I don't know what the hell's going on there. That game's out. So 5 picks instead. Game number 3, I am going to lay, and I believe it just came down a little bit. I'm going to lay 4 with Buffalo. So it was 4.5, but now I see 4 everywhere. So we're going with 4. Laying 4 with the Bills. Let's start with this. If I got notes too. Notes. Take this shit serious. If I took it that serious, I would at least be organized as to what game I was on. If the Patriots were performing the way they've been performing this season, but we called them the, let's say, Jacksonville Jaguars, or we called them the Detroit Lions, right? Or we called them the Los Angeles Chargers, what will we think about this game? That's the key to this. What will we think about this game in that scenario? Because I see the Fresno State, Colorado State, very clever, very clever. I was way off on that one. Thanks for piping in. You can always count on the comments. What will we think about this game if, lost my train of thought, if this was not the Patriots, if these exact same stats and performances were put out there, but they were the Atlanta Falcons, right? We wouldn't be coming up with any reasons for them to win this game. You got high winds in Buffalo today, which can hurt the passing attack and keep this thing close. Low total. So maybe the 4 in the pocket helps you. New England stinks. They've lost 4 of their last 5. Those 4 lost. N'Keal Harry's out. Stephon Gilmore's out. Who's Newton going to throw it to? Are they going to run every down? Okay, Buffalo will stack the box. Then Newton's got to beat him with the arm, which leads us back to problem number 1. Who's he going to throw the ball to in this game? 28 total points the Patriots have scored the last 3 weeks. That's awful. And they're 22nd in yards per play on offense, 25th in yards per play on defense. What does New England do well? That's the question. What do they do well? I've been asking this for 2 weeks, even though I bet them last week against the Niners. I love the adjustment on the line. I thought I was getting value with the Patriots, and I turned that game off immediately. New England has not been good. Now, one thing that worries me about this, it comes to the wind and the fact that it's a low total game. Belichick's a master when it comes to special teams. He's gotten the Bills before with some savvy special teams maneuvers. That's what worries me today, is that this could be tight enough where one key special teams play decides the entire game. And if it goes in New England's favor, we end up getting burned on this. Buffalo hasn't looked very good the last couple of weeks. 2 weeks ago, they stunk it up against Kansas City. Last week against the Jets, going down the 2s. That doesn't mean he can't play well today. I like him. If not now, when? Right? Like at some point, that New England dynasty is going to topple. And if the Bills are in position to grab the division, today's the day you got to go out and do it. That's what I'm betting on. No analytics, not just today's the day. Just grit. This is a grit bet of the week. Buffalo -4. Number 4, prop. Seattle, San Francisco. Garoppolo over 260.5 passing yards. Everyone in the Bay Area probably bitching about whether or not Garoppolo's a franchise quarterback. He's not any good. Then you see Mullins, then you realize Garoppolo's all right. Guy's a pretty good quarterback. Deebo Samuel's out for this game. I don't care about that. They'll probably want to run the ball like crazy. Seattle's pass defense stinks. First of all, the Seahawks rank 32nd in the NFL in total defense. They're giving up 480 yards per game. They're giving up 300 and I believe 70 passing yards per game. Listen to the quarterback passing totals. Why did I eliminate that page? I brought that up specifically for this rant, and now I can no longer give the rant effectively because I closed the page for literally no reason whatsoever. Filibuster enough to get to it. Here are the passing totals that the Seahawks have given out week by week starting in week 1 against Matt Ryan. 434 yards, 397 yards, 461 yards, 312 yards, 248 yards, and then 360 yards to Kyler Murray last week. Everybody throws on these guys, except apparently Kirk Cousins, which I think that game had some rain in it. Everyone throws on these guys. Garoppolo's total is 260.5. I said this last week because the Cardinals-Seahawks was the night game, and that's when we tend to give out more props when we do the live streams that only have one game. Jamal Adams being back, I figured he was coming back this week. They said he was. That's why I don't understand the line move. Him being back can only do so much. And I know they brought in Carlos Dunlap at pass rush too. I still don't think it's enough. I still think Garoppolo's going to get to his 261. You don't have to worry about weather there, or at least not to the extent you have to worry about it in other places. But I said this last week. I had Murray's over, and he cruised over it. I'm not fucking around with any of this anymore. When you play Seattle, until further notice when they show it, I'm betting quarterback over props against the Seahawks defense every week until further notice. So you can just anticipate that. Garoppolo over 260.5. Now Shanahan's going to run the ball 50 times. Garoppolo threw for $105. San Francisco wins 17-0. So there's that. And then brings us to the finale. Before I take any questions, the Joe Fortenbaugh, what could possibly go wrong? 6-point teaser of the week. Joe Fortenbaugh, what could possibly go wrong? 6-point teaser of the week. 6-0. Didn't do this in week 1. Thought it'd be funny to do it in week 2 when I took that ridiculously public tease that featured I want to say the Ravens and the Chiefs. And the Chiefs had to get there late. That was when Butker hit 3 straight 54-yard field goals because they kept calling timeout and icing it against the Chargers. I don't really like it this week. I was going to tease Baltimore through 0, even though you're never supposed to tease through 0. And then I looked at that and I said, I can't do that in good conscience, even if it's a winner. And that probably is a stupid move too. If it's a winner, it's a winner. Who cares what the rules are? But I can't talk about these teaser rules and then come on and violate them. So I was thinking about doing Buffalo and the Ravens. So remember that one. It's not going to count, but that's what I was thinking about doing, teasing both through 0 and just getting wins. What I am going to do, and I'm a little iffy here because I don't think there are a lot of great teaser options this week. I hate betting on the Titans, but I'm betting on them. Tennessee, I'm teasing them from 7 down to 1. Okay? Titans from 7 down to 1. They're at Cincinnati. Wouldn't this be the week the Bengals wake up and win a game? And I'm teasing it with Green Bay, and I'm not a huge fan of that one. They're sitting 6. I'm teasing it down to a pick 'em. Like I said, I wanted to tease through 0, and then I thought to myself, no, you got to set the example here. All right, if we're going to talk about teaser rules, let's follow the rules, set it, place their bets accurately. You don't tease through 0. You lose a lot of value in that. So the 6-point teaser of the week, Tennessee -1 with Green Bay pick 'em. Ugh, I could see that being the leg that goes down. Cousins has the game of his life. That's that. That's where we're at. So I'm going to recap it one time. First thing I'm going to do is give you the announcement that before we take questions, get the questions ready in there. If there's any games you like or anything that's going on that I haven't covered. Number 1, the next stream is going to be this afternoon. When the last afternoon game goes final, that's when we're going live. We'll preview Eagles-Cowboys, which is sure to be a thriller. We'll also be back tomorrow and Thursday to do the Monday night and Thursday night streams. Those both start at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. So you got that covered. The recap, Ravens -4 over the Steelers, favorite play. Dolphins +3.5 over the Rams. Buffalo -4 over the Patriots. Garoppolo over 260.5 passing yards. What could possibly go wrong? 6-point teaser of the week, Tennessee -1, coupled with Green Bay pick'em. First question. You are teasing Green Bay through 0. No, I'm not. I'm taking them from 6 down to 0. Not through 0, on to 0. From 6 to 0. Just need to win that game. What windy unders do you like? I do not think the first one that comes to mind with the windy unders, Bears Saints. I don't think the Bears are going to be scoring. And Drew Brees without his top 2 wide receivers and that noodle arm he's got at 41 or whatever he is at Soldier Field, just run the damn ball. I could see that game being 10-3. So if I was going to play one windy under, that would be my favorite. Raiders Browns worries me because defense optional when it comes to the Raiders. Packers Vikings, I would look to that under too. I think there's going to be a lot of running on the Minnesota side. And Bills Patriots, I wouldn't play that over. New England offense stinks. So of the windy unders, the one I like the most is the Windy City. Bears Saints under. Biggest trap on the board. Apparently it's Seattle. The way this line has moved from 6.5 on the look ahead line down to 1. It's also possible Green Bay's a trap. Throw that out there as well. Other potential traps. I don't know. I didn't mention Detroit, Indianapolis. Every week there's at least one game that the second I look at it and I see the number, I'm like, I'm not even messing with that game. That's the game this week. I looked at that, I'm like, forget this. Rivers off a bye on the road. It should be fine with that defense. Detroit's been feisty, and they were good to us last week. We had them. What do you like more, Lions +3 or Browns -1? I don't like either. I didn't even see that, and I just went on that rant about the Lions. Probably the Lions, though, +3. Browns -1. Raider money is pouring in. I want to say the Raiders. That Raider defense stinks. They're going to be on the road with that defense against Cleveland. I don't know. That's a great question because it's so fucking hard. Lions +3, I think I like more. Lions +3, I think. Who would you play? Kamara over receiving plus rush? I don't know what it is. You know the Bears are going to be coming for him. I mean, the focal point of the Bear defense has to be him today. I wouldn't mess with that. It's 5.5 Green Bay. Okay, so that would be teasing through 0. I gave it out at 6. So we're playing it on pick'em, not +0.5. But thank you, Manuel, for bringing that to my attention. Thoughts on my Nittany Lions? They suck. I played them yesterday. Like, I didn't even turn that on thinking maybe I could get a win. Maybe it'll beat Ohio State. I just thought this is how pathetic it's become as a Penn State alum with this team. I was just hoping for a backdoor cover. That's it. Not even a good cover. Not even like they're close the whole way, or maybe they're leading and they blow it, but they still cover and we all make some money and we walk away. I went in that game saying, I'm betting Penn State. I hope they backdoor cover it. No expectations there. And you know what? Expectations met. They didn't do anything. They didn't cover the spread. Thanks, Penn State. I don't even know who they have next week. I don't care. This season's already done. Get out of here. And don't rattle off 8 and then go to the Outback Bowl. I'm not interested in watching that. I'm really not. Fucking team. Let's see what else we got here. By rationale applies to Lamar just as well. If he plays bad, they lose miserably. No, I don't necessarily agree with that. That could be true. I don't have it in front of me. I don't think Lamar Jackson needs to be awesome today. They got a great defense. They're going to disrupt Roethlisberger, in my opinion. I think Baltimore can get an average game from Lamar Jackson and they can win. That's not the case. Like Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers have to play as MVPs or their teams are not in it. Russ accounted for over 500 yards last week, almost 40 points, and they lose. Like that defense stinks. It's the same thing with Rodgers. He went to Tampa. He made a couple mistakes. No one was there to bail him out. No one on defense made a play. No one on offense outside of him was making plays. Lamar doesn't have to be perfect for them to win. They've got good coaching, and they got a really good defense, plus they can run the ball. And I know he's a big factor in that. But like if Russ has an off day, Seattle's not winning. If Aaron Rodgers has an off day today, Green Bay's not winning. Those teams are too dependent on their quarterbacks. But it's a good point because if Jackson's shaky, that Ravens team goes from one of the best in the NFL to like, What else? Would you rather throw Dolphins, Ravens, and Bills on that teaser you have if you had the chance? I mean, you're not supposed to tease through 0, but I love the Ravens laying the points, and I tease it through and I make it 2. I mean, +2. I like the Ravens. You're not supposed to tease through 0. I'm going to keep saying that because it's going to sound smart, but like probably I'll turn this computer off and then I'll bet a Raven teaser and just not say anything. Unless it wins, and then I'll come back on the stream and be like, hey, I ended up doing it. So smart. What else we got? Anything else? I do like the Dolphins, but I'm a little shaky. Again, the Tua factor. I'm willing to bet on the bad situation of the Rams, plus the fact that Rams don't have any tape on Tua. I think he makes plays today. I'm willing to bet on that, but I'm gambling, right? I'm speculating on this. So if it doesn't work out, it wouldn't surprise me, but I am willing to take that shot. You think points are scored in Pittsburgh, Baltimore? I would lean to the over there if I was doing anything. I have not bet that, but if I was to bet anything, we have this vision in our mind. Pittsburgh, Baltimore is this defensive matchup. We used to see those 10-9 games. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think you're going to get points. I think Baltimore is going to put theirs up. No Devin Bush, fast linebacker against Lamar Jackson. See ya. KC team total over 34.5. I mean, it feels too obvious, right? It feels obvious that like the Chiefs will put up 50 points in this game. But, maybe they come out and they start slow. They make one mistake. Someone drops a ball on third down and they have to punt. One turnover, one missed field goal. You add those things up and suddenly you're not covering 19.5. And to get to 35, I think the Chiefs just want to get done with this game and move on. There's no statement. You're not trying to impress the Associated Press like in college. You just want to win this game. The Jets are that bad, though. They might like you get to 35. I'll say this. I wouldn't bet against it. All right. Looks like we're good there. Thank you all for tuning in. It's always a pleasure. Love talking to you guys like this. Hope you enjoyed the YouTube stream. Oddshark had brought up the idea. He said, let's try to switch this thing to YouTube. Say I'm a company man. Whatever I can do to assist. Love you all. Happy to do it. And subscribe if you haven't already. Because I have to use this laptop in this weirdo setup. If you get to 1,000 subscribers, they allow you to use your phone and iPad. Like I'm Joe Fortenbaugh. Why can't I just use my phone and iPad now? You ever see Daily Wager? I'm the guy who beat the pigeons. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't mush that. But if I get to 1,000 subscribers, then apparently I can go back to using my phone, which means I can get the better shot, and I don't have to step over all these damn wires every day. So that would be a huge help if you just hit subscribe. If you don't, I'm not going to get all banged up about it. Thank you all very much. Good luck today. And I don't know what is going on in the Seattle game. I should probably just bet the Niners and not even watch it. All right, we're done. You guys are awesome. I'll see you this afternoon for the Eagle Cowboy stream. I'll probably be tuned up for that. It's the only way to do a live stream for them anyway.